Hello YouTube, Minimalist Outdoors here. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. I recently got some odds and ends here in the mail that I ordered for specifically this winter. I have some Power Bait Natural Scent Corn Yellow. So what I'm going to be doing with this is specifically for fishing for trout. I don't have very much experience fishing for trout. This will be my first time going. I'm pretty good at fishing for other things, specifically crappie. But you know, my buddy KDB Fishing, Kamani, he's a bass fisherman. He'd be able to give you as much information as you want on bass fishing. But I could tell you just about anything about crappie fishing. But since the topic here is going to be fishing as a minimalist, I'm not going to be carrying as many rods as a bass fisherman. What I normally do is I take this small 3-foot rod for backpacking trips and everything, and hitting different small bodies of water on a backpacking trip. Right now I have about 8-pound test on this. I'm going to be replacing this. This is also like my ice fishing rig. When I go ice fishing, I'm going to be replacing this 8-pound test with this line that just came in called Fluoro Pro. Here it is right here. I have it in the plastic bag because it came loose and it was wound up all over the place inside the bag. This is 4-pound test, 328 yards of it, or less than that now because I had to cut some off. It's fluorocarbon coated, which means it's going to be super strong yet super invisible underwater. I read the reviews. A lot of people have a lot of good things to say about this. I asked my dad what type of line that he recommends for fishing for trout and everything. He said 4-pound. 4-pound, that way it's thinner, and he says that trout tend to be more skittish when you're fishing for them, and when they see line, they just don't even bother biting. So for fish, they're pretty intelligent. This is part of being fishing as a minimalist. Having a small rod, you can just attach it to the outside of your bag, carry it in your hand. They really won't get snagged on branches while you're traveling down some narrow trails. I have a light duty but high quality fishing reel. This is made by Fluger. I can't remember which model this one is. I think it is the Fluger, let's see, President Mono, I think. Yeah. This is a really good reel. I've caught quite a few fish with this. This whole getup right here. Caught some pretty good size, and it has a lot of flex to it. I have no complaints about this little fishing pole whatsoever. And it's a spitting image of an ice fishing pole, so you can use it for. That's what I'm gonna be setting it up for lake trout ice fishing. I have this tiny little pack, which has everything I need in it. Look how narrow it is. Made by Frambo. Here's my 8-pound test I was talking about. Alright, with this getup, you're gonna just have the basic, pliers. I just use electrical pliers. You don't need to spend the extra dime on anything that is just specifically for fishing. Removing hooks, that's all you need it for. And needle nose is just, pretty multi-purpose pliers. What I have here is I have 2 little trays full of some good stuff. It's a small tackle box with, your bare basic stuff. With trout fishing, you're going to want to use a number 8 hook, like my dad said. He said that trout tend to go for light colored green, so I have 2 different types of light colored green jig heads, and number 8 size hook. Here's a number 8 right here. Kind of jittery because I just had almost a whole pot of coffee. Here's one right here. Yeah, this is what I'm going to be setting it up with. I'm going to be doing the corn power bait on here with no leader. I'm not going to do a leader. I'm just going to be using this jig head with the corn bait on there and the number 4 line, and I'll be having a little float. Those little floats that are little foam, They're about maybe this big around. Yeah, about a ½ inch around, and they're cylinder shaped. They have like a little toothpick through the center of that. I'm going to be present, so I'm not going to be using any tip-ups. This right here, I'm sure Kamani would appreciate. My buddy who runs KDB Fishing, he created this. He and I go hiking and spelunking and everything, and we were traveling up and down some caves, and we came across some more trees and some small dogwood branches. And dogwood, it's kind of like dense, and once you dry it out, the wood actually stays pretty like buoyant, I guess you could say. What he did is he put a little coat of varnish on there, and then he painted it, put the little googly eyes on there. So he actually made this lure. You know, it's got the little treble hooks on there, daredevil hooks. He even has his little trademark on there. So for KDB Fishing, doing a little shout out. So in this little tackle box, I have just your basic 3-inch steel leaders. I already have a little crappie lure on there. That's why I caught last with this, and broke it off. But yeah, I have just a little handful of these. Of course, the lure that Kamani made me. Yeah, I suggest, if you haven't checked his channel out, I definitely suggest you do so. It's a really good channel. Right now he's preoccupied with doing some remodeling around his house, and here I am, bored out of my mind because school doesn't start for me until the 14th, and I'm going to be missing some school because I have a major surgery coming up, getting my finger unfused from my hand. Had a bad accident back in July, as I mentioned in some previous videos. So there's this lure, standard floating Rapala that sinks, and the jig head that I showed you earlier, and I have a little lighter color. This one's also, I think this is actually a number 12 hook, so it's a little bit bigger. You can see that okay. Then I have some small bait hooks that I use for panfish, your basic ones. Nothing special about those. The loop on these things are actually large enough to accommodate the larger, thicker gauge of steel leader. So sometimes if I don't really necessarily fish for anything specific like Kamani does, I just fish for whatever bites. So if anything bites that has some serrated teeth, I like having a steel leader, that way I don't lose it. If I'm fishing from the bottom for carp, I like having these. What I end up doing is I end up extending the line about 2 feet. That way the current can take it and it floats up. Whenever I go fishing down the Vermilion, that's what I like to do. I like to put 2 of these on the line. These little teardrop sinkers. And then I have your standard small shot. I just put 1 of these on the line. Daredevil and some other crappie lures. I have some multicolored crappie lures, but this is stuck together. Alright, so little blue and silver crappie lure, and the Daredevil. And some more treble hooks for when I'm doing some carp fishing. I just put some bread or pieces of chicken, expired chicken. They like that. That's what I've used in the past, and it actually worked out pretty well when I go fishing with my buddy Marchbanks, one of my fellow service friends. He's in the Navy now. He ended up cross-training and going to the Navy to a completely different branch. Now he's a fighter pilot, or trained to be a fighter pilot. But I know there's some other things that he's going through right now, so it might not happen for him in May. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and praying for him. But yeah, all this basic stuff right here, it's all you need. Absolutely all you need. You don't need very much more than this if you just want to go out and have fun and enjoy yourself. But yeah, I'll be doing some fishing with Kamani here in the spring, and I have a busy spring. Weather permitting, if we get snow, I'm gonna be doing some snowshoeing stuff, some in the woods bushcraft. I'll be using a lot of the stuff that I have hanging on my wall, like my tomahawk. I'll be using my CRKT, the Shogun tomahawk. I may end up making a leather collar for it. That way, if I ever miss swing, it doesn't chew up the wood. That way I don't have to really replace the handle too often. But yeah, hope this video is informative to you, and I'll keep on doing more of these. Oh, and by the way, I'm using the XL HD camera. I picked up a Spy Point hunting camera, action camera, for under $130, and I'll be using that for my videos from now on, and for my Instagram. My Instagram is Lone Woodsman 92. If you want to follow me on Instagram and support me that way, you can do that. I'll be doing more pictures on there instead of GIFs and other material. I have all my military tactical stuff on that one too. So, yeah, hope this helps out, and enjoy the outdoors.